Chapter 3097. An yin from the Dark Ice Clan was frozen by the ancestor of the Ice Spirit Clan and could not move. Lu Ming moved and landed beside an yin. "Where is the 9 extinction divine crystal?" "Give it to me," Lu Ming said coldly. "How do you know that the 9 extinction divine crystal is in the hands of the Dark Ice Clan?" An yin asked unwillingly. "Oh. It seems that the person behind you did not inform you that you have been exposed. It seems that you have been abandoned by the person behind the scenes." Lu Ming sneered. The other side was not prepared. Obviously, they did not know that they had been exposed. The person behind the scenes did not inform them. Obviously, they had abandoned the Dark Ice Clan to protect themselves. Damn it! An yin roared angrily. He had also figured this out, and his anger soared to the sky. "You've all been abandoned, so there's no need to hide anymore. Tell me, who's the one behind you? Which family is it?" Lu Ming asked. "I don't know." An yin shook his head. "You don't know? Hehe, even at this point, you're still helping to hide it. They've already abandoned you," Lu Ming said coldly. "I don't know, I just don't know. Every time we meet them, they are wrapped in black robes and meet at the Devil Capital Mountain. I only know that they are a great force of the 9 extinction Heavenly King Palace, but I don't know who they are. Also, the 9 extinction divine crystal is in my storage ring. Take it. I hope you can let go of the people of the Dark Ice Clan with low cultivation. They are no threat to you." An yin let out a long sigh. He knew that he would not be able to survive today. The winner took all. He knew that. He only hoped that the people of the Dark Ice Clan with low cultivation could survive. Lu Ming frowned. It seemed that the Dark Ice Clan did not know who the person behind the scenes was. This could be inferred from the fact that the person behind the scenes did not inform the Dark Ice Clan. If the Dark Ice Clan knew who the person behind the scenes was, the person behind the scenes would not dare to let Lu Ming kill them. Was he not afraid that the Dark Ice Clan would betray them? It was obvious that the person behind the scenes was not worried at all. He knew that the Dark Ice race did not know who they were. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. This clue was broken again. Could it be that the mastermind was so difficult to find? Then, Lu Ming took an yin's storage ring and searched through it. Not long after, Lu Ming took out a small dark golden box. After opening it, there was a crystal inside that emitted a shocking energy. This was the 9 extinction divine crystal, the treasure of the 9 extinction Heavenly King Mansion. Looking at the 9 extinction God crystal, Lu Ming's eyes revealed a fiery glow. The 9 Dew divine crystal was definitely a rare treasure. Its value might not be lower than the stellar core that he had obtained previously. However, it was a treasure of the 9 Dew Heavenly King Mansion and he dared not be greedy. The clan leader of the Ice Spirit Clan and the others naturally did not dare to covet the 9 Dew divine crystal. It was a hot potato. If they did not handle it well, they would be wiped out. No matter how valuable it was, they could only look at it. "Ice Spirit Clan leader, this storage ring and the Dark Ice tribe are yours to deal with," Lu Ming said as he handed an yin's storage ring to the Ice Spirit Clan leader. "All right. When this is over, we will divide the spoils equally." The Ice Spirit Clan's patriarch smiled and put away the storage ring. Then, he looked at an yin coldly and attacked, killing an yin with a final blow. He would not let an yin go. The battle that followed did not have any suspense. The Dark Ice tribe was almost completely wiped out. However, the Ice Spirit Clan did not kill all of them. They did not kill some of the weaker members of the Dark Ice tribe. After cleaning up, the Kongshen school and the Ice Spirit Clan met up and flew out. "Ice Spirit Clan leader, be careful later," Lu Ming reminded the Ice Spirit Clan leader. The Ice Spirit Clan leader's eyes flashed. He was a smart man and naturally knew what Lu Ming meant. The Flaming Tribe, the 3 Overlord forces, and some top sects did not follow. They most likely did not have good intentions. He secretly ordered the people of the Ice Spirit Clan to form a large array. Soon, they flew out of the glacier. Boom! Boom! As soon as Lu Ming and the others flew out of the glacier, powerful auras came from all directions. Countless figures appeared from all directions and surrounded Lu Ming and the others. Their powerful auras firmly locked onto them. These people were the Flaming Tribe, the 3 Overlord forces, and the other sects. What do you want? The Ice Spirit clan leader asked coldly. It's simple. Hand over the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal. Also, Lu Ming, kill yourself. The Invincible Ken's sect leader took a step forward and said in a cold voice. As soon as he said this, the expressions of the Kongxian school and the Ice Spirit clan changed drastically. Especially the people of the Kongxian school. Their expressions were even uglier. These people were targeting Lu Ming at this time. You guys are really greedy. Not only do you want the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal, but you also want my life. Aren't you afraid that you'll die from overeating? Lu Ming said with a faint smile. His face was calm and there was no trace of worry. These people's actions were within his expectations. Ha ha ha, today, all the major forces are here. I'm not afraid that you can overturn the situation. Lu Ming, you'll definitely die today. I advise you to hand over the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal and we'll give you a quick death. The Winged Demon Academy's dean sneered. If they took the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal to the 9 Extinction Heavenly King's residence, they would definitely be rewarded. They would not miss this opportunity. This operation could be said to be killing many birds with one stone. Lu Ming, don't believe them. Even if you agree to them, they won't let us go. The Ice Spirit clan leader shouted. The other party had mobilized so many people. How could they let them go so easily? Ha ha ha, you're right. Today, the Ice Spirit clan and Kongxian school will be destroyed. A big man from the Flaming Flame clan laughed. He was the Flaming Flame clan leader. Let's rush out together. At this moment, the Ice Spirit clan's ancestor shouted angrily. His aura burst out and he wanted to rush out from one of the directions. Old Ice, your opponent is me. An old man from the Flaming Flame clan dashed out. His body was covered in flames like a sun as he attacked the Ice Spirit clan's ancestor. Boom. The two of them exchanged a blow. It was earth-shattering. The sky trembled. Half of the sky turned into ice and snow while the other half turned into flames. Old Flaming Flame. The Ice Spirit clan's ancestor shouted angrily. The old man from the Flaming Flame clan was the Flaming Flame clan's ancestor. He was also in the 4th layer of the King God realm. The Flaming Flame clan and the Ice Spirit clan's ancestors were both in the 4th layer of the King God realm. That was why the two clans had been fighting for so many years without a clear winner. Kill. The Flaming Flame clan's ancestor shouted and rushed towards the Ice Spirit clan's ancestor. The two experts engaged in a fierce battle. Chapter 3098. Let's get out of here, shouted the patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan. He wanted to lead the Ice Spirit clan to get out of here. However, at this moment, a strong and scorching chi wave rolled towards the patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan. It was the Scarlet Flame clan's patriarch. He punched out, and a scorching fist energy shot towards the Ice Soul clan's patriarch. Shouted the patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan. An ice sword appeared in his hand. He slashed at the patriarch of the Flaming Flame clan. Boom. The ice sword hit the patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan, exploding violently. Buzz. The ice sword trembled violently and crazily. In the end, it exploded with a bang. The Ice Soul Patriarch was also pushed back by a terrifying force. His body crashed into a glacier, and the entire glacier exploded. The Patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan vomited blood, his face pale. 4th King God layer. You've broken through to the 4th King God layer. How is that possible? Shouted the Patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan. He had fought with the Patriarch of the Flaming Flame clan for a long time. He knew each other well. The Patriarch of the Flaming Flame clan was about the same as him in terms of talent and strength. It was impossible for him to break through to the 4th King God layer so quickly. However, the Patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan had broken through to the 4th King God layer. How could he not be shocked? What? 4th King God layer? Oh my god. The Patriarch of the Flaming Flame clan has broken through to the 4th King God layer. The Ice Spirit clan's members all paled. Many of them had pale faces. In the past, the two clans each had a 4th King God layer expert. In terms of top fighting strength, the two clans were equal. However, the Flaming Flame clan was stronger than the Ice Spirit clan. But now, the Flaming Flame clan had 2 Fourth King God layer experts. In terms of top fighting strength, they had the upper hand. To the Ice Spirit clan, it was a disaster. Ha ha ha. I told you, the Ice Spirit clan will be destroyed today. The Flaming Flame clan's patriarch laughed wildly. He was so excited. Especially when he saw the despair in the patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan's eyes, he felt so happy. Don't worry. I won't kill you so soon. I will kill Lu Ming first, then I will kill all the people of the Ice Spirit clan. Ha ha ha. The Flaming Flame clan's patriarch laughed wildly. The matriarch of the Ice Soul race roared. She was so angry that she spat out another mouthful of blood. The difference between the 3rd King God Realm and the 4th King God Realm was too big. The patriarch of the Ice Soul clan was severely wounded. Let's get the 9 Extinction God Crystal first. Lu Ming, tell me, is the 9 Extinction God Crystal in your hands? The Dean of the Winged Demon Academy looked coldly at Lu Ming. That's right, it's in my hands. Lu Ming smiled and a small purple gold box appeared in his hand. He picked it up and shook it. His expression was calm from beginning to end. Everyone's gaze was immediately attracted to the small box in Lu Ming's hands. Dean, I will go and snatch the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal. Sect Master, I will go and snatch the 9 Extinction God Crystal. Patriarch. At this moment, experts from the Mystic Academy, the Invincible Kens, the Immeasurable Holy Land, and the Flaming Flame clan stepped out and rushed towards Lu Ming. They all wanted to obtain the 9 Extinction God Crystal. The one who obtained the 9 Extinction God Crystal and handed it over would definitely receive more rewards. These forces had already started competing. There was a total of 8 experts from the 4 forces. They pounced on Lu Ming and all of them were half-step Divine Kings. As for the Divine Kings, they hadn't taken action yet. They didn't need a Divine King to deal with Lu Ming. Holy Sun, Yu Wuya and the other elders of the Kongxian school were shocked. They wanted to help Lu Ming, but the Divine Kings of the Mystic Academy and the Invincible Kens had locked their auras. If they moved, they would suffer a thunderous attack. Don't do anything. These dogs and cats can't do anything to me, Lu Ming said indifferently. His voice was calm, but it was filled with disdain. When those words reached the ears of the other great forces, they were infuriated. A heavenly god junior, you're just an ant. You're courting death. Arrogant. Let's see if you have the ability to be so arrogant. Those half-step Divine Kings who rushed towards Lu Ming roared furiously. They used all sorts of techniques and attacks to envelop Lu Ming. 8 half-step Divine Kings attacking at the same time was terrifying. Not to mention a heavenly god junior, even a true Divine King would have to be cautious. However, in Lu Ming's eyes, these people couldn't even withstand a single blow. Divine Dragon Dharma Idol. Lu Ming muttered and used the Divine Dragon Dharma Idol art. Both of his hands pressed against the void. Instantly, dragon roars resounded through the heavens and earth. 9-clawed dragon appeared one after another. Roar. The 9-clawed divine dragon that was the first to condense roared and pounced towards the fastest half-step Divine King. It waved its claws and destroyed the half-step Divine King's attack. Then, in front of the half-step Divine King's shocked eyes, the dragon claw grabbed his body and squeezed. A miserable shriek was heard as the half-step Divine King was crushed to death. What? Many people were shocked. A half-step Divine King was actually killed so easily. Roar. At this time, a second 9-clawed dragon arrived in front of a second Divine King. Just like the first Divine King, this half-step Divine King was also unable to withstand a single blow. His body was torn apart by the 9-clawed dragon. Not good. Retreat. 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 The remaining 6 half-step Divine Kings who were charging towards Lu Ming were completely shocked. They almost lost their courage and frantically retreated. You want to retreat now? What a joke. Lu Ming's cold voice rang out. The 9-clawed dragon's speed was incomparably shocking. In the blink of an eye, it arrived behind those people and unleashed a terrifying slaughter. Several half-step Divine Kings were killed in succession. This scene stunned the crowd. Those who knew Lu Ming were stupefied. Lu Ming was just a junior. How could he be so strong? He could easily kill half-step divine kings. That kind of strength was too terrifying. Stop. Damn it. Furious roars could be heard from the Yimo Academy and the imperishable sword sect. Two figures dashed out from the Yimo Academy as a terrifying pressure spread out from them. Divine kings. Two divine kings at the first divine king layer had joined the battle. The two of them rushed forward, wanting to stop Lu Ming. However, they were still a step too late. By the time they arrived, the 8 half-step divine kings were already dead. None of them were left alive. Ah, brat, I'll skin you alive. I'll make you beg for death. The two divine kings roared and furiously charged towards Lu Ming. Their terrifying pressure caused the void to tremble unceasingly. Many people's expressions changed. Divine kings were too terrifying. Lu Ming, Yu Wuya and the others were extremely worried. But at this moment, they wanted to help, but the other side's experts had locked onto them. Once they attacked, they would face a chaotic battle. Chapter 3099. Divine Kings are finally taking action. Lu Ming said indifferently. He waved his hands and another 9-clawed dragon appeared in the sky. Adding the previous 8 9-clawed dragons, there were 9 in total. The 9 9-clawed dragons gathered together and attacked the 2 divine kings. The 2 god kings also unleashed terrifying attacks at the 9-clawed divine dragon. Boom! Boom! In the sky, there was a violent roar, and a terrifying force spread out in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the 9 9-clawed dragons had retreated several tens of thousands of meters. However, the 2 divine kings were also blocked. This scene caused many people's eyes to widen. Lu Ming could block the attacks of 2 divine kings. What kind of monster was he? This. The experts of the Kongxian school, Yu Wuya, and the others were also dumbfounded. Obviously, Lu Ming's strength had exceeded their expectations. Not as strong as the Dark Knight Devil King. Lu Ming muttered in a low voice. The reason why he hadn't used his ancient god body was because he wanted to test his opponent's strength. He realized that although these 2 divine kings were also at the first divine king realm, they were weaker than the Dark Knight Devil King, let alone the divine kings of the Jin family and the Winged Men clan. At the same level, the divine kings of the Jin family and the Winged Men clan were stronger. Lu Ming didn't need to use his ancient god body to block them. Damn it! Kill! Seeing that they had failed to take down Lu Ming, the 2 divine kings felt embarrassed. They flew into a rage out of humiliation. Both of them roared furiously and charged toward Lu Ming again. I don't want to play with you anymore. At this moment, Lu Ming said indifferently. Then, his body rapidly enlarged. Roar! Lu Ming turned into the green-armored ancient god. A roar came from his throat. A wild aura spread everywhere, shaking the earth. Boom! Lu Ming threw out 2 punches. 2 mountain-like fist forces blasted towards the 2 divine kings. There was a terrifying whistling sound in the void. The terrifying fist forces pressed down on the 2 divine kings, shattering their attacks directly. This is... No. The 2 divine kings screamed in fear. In the next moment, their bodies exploded like watermelons. Their souls were destroyed. Instant kill. 2 divine kings had been instantly killed by Lu Ming. Time and space seemed to freeze. At this moment, the entire place fell into a deathly silence. Countless people were dumbfounded. Even the patriarchs of the Ice Soul clan and the Flaming Flame clan stopped fighting and looked at this scene in shock. At this moment, Lu Ming became the center of attention and everyone's attention was focused on him. Boom! After a while, the sound of people sucking in cold breaths could be heard. Heavens, heavens, what did I just see? He killed 2 god kings. I'm not dreaming, right? No, I must be dreaming. He's only at the 6th level of the celestial god realm. How could he kill a god king? This is crazy. At this moment, whether it was the Scarlet Flame race, the Ice Soul race, or the Qin Tian 13 sex experts, they were all indescribably shocked. A 6th level heavenly god had killed 2 divine kings. That was simply inconceivable. They had never heard of such a thing. He. The ones who were the most shocked were the few heavenly geniuses of the three overlords. This time, the majority of the people who had come were heavenly gods and above. Therefore, some of the top heavenly geniuses of the various factions had also come. For example, the invincible Kenz's son Sword Dao Limitless. The strongest heavenly genius of the Scarlet Flame race, Scarlet Flame Devil Pine, and the others. Even the invincible Kenz's son, Ling Hu Yi, was among them. However, these people were completely dumbfounded. Their jaws dropped in shock. Clearly, they were unable to calm down. Looks like my battle with him back then was a joke. Ling Hu Yi smiled bitterly. Ling Hu Yi was the same as Lu Ming. They were both from the chaotic astral river. Back then, they had participated in the Qin Tian 13 sects assessment together. In the end, Lu Ming had obtained first place, while Ling Hu Yi had obtained second place. At that time, Ling Hu Yi was not convinced. He felt that his talent was not inferior to Lu Ming's. Furthermore, he had made a battle with Lu Ming 1,000 years later. In these years, his cultivation had also advanced by leaps and bounds. Furthermore, he had already grasped divine-grade divine power. With his comprehension, it was only a matter of time before he grasped divine-grade divine power and became a divine son. He was originally high-spirited, but now, compared to Lu Ming, he realized that he was simply a frog in a well. The difference between him and Lu Ming was too great. There was no comparison at all. He was afraid that Lu Ming would be able to kill him with a puff of air. This brat. The dean of the Mystic Academy, the patriarch of the invincible Kens, and the others were terrified. Lu Ming was too terrifying. It had only been a short time, but he had already grown to this level. In a few more years, they would not be his opponents. Kill. Today, they had to kill Lu Ming. They absolutely could not let Lu Ming live. This was the patriarch of the invincible Kens, the dean of the Mystic Academy, and the others all had the same thought. Kill. Experts of the second layer of the King God realm and above, attack together and kill Lu Ming. The patriarch of the invincible Kens, the Winged Demon Academy, and the others all gave the same order. For the time being, they did not plan to attack. They had all obtained the king-breaking pellet and had broken through to the fourth layer of the King God realm. However, they had just broken through and their cultivation bases had not yet stabilized. If they attacked now, it would not be good for their foundation. Moreover, they wanted to hide their cultivation bases so that when they competed with other forces in the future, they could suddenly reveal their cultivation bases and kill their opponents when they were unprepared. The leaders of the other forces all had the same idea, so they ordered their subordinates to attack first. No matter how heaven-defying Lu Ming was, they did not believe that Lu Ming could be a match for experts of the second layer of the King God realm. Moreover, there were experts of the third layer of the King God realm among them. If these people attacked together, even if there were 10 Lu Ming, he would be dead for sure. Boom boom. As soon as the order was given, terrifying auras diffused from the other forces. The terrifying pressure spread everywhere, making many people feel as if a mountain was pressing down on them. Terrifying experts stepped out from each of the major forces. The weakest among these people was at the second layer of the King God realm. Some of them were even at the third layer of the King God realm. These were the trump cards of the other forces. Lu Ming's face became solemn. Facing these experts, he was indeed not their match. Chocho. Lu Ming's mind flickered. Chocho on his wrist began to move, turning into an armor, covering Lu Ming. Come. Lu Ming let out a long roar and took the initiative to charge out. Kill. Kill. A few experts shouted coldly. Their god power surged, attacking Lu Ming fiercely. The second layer of the King God realm was much stronger than the first layer of the King God realm. Even if they were not as strong as the experts of the Jin family, Lu Ming alone would not be able to defeat them. However, with Chocho, it was different. Boom boom. Lu Ming punched. His fist was covered with thick lightning bolts. The lightning bolts were thicker than a person's waist. They struck 2nd layer of the King God realm experts. Chapter 3100. Lu Ming threw a punch. Bolts of lightning engulfed the 2 experts at the second King God realm. Those were the lightning bolts released by Chocho. How powerful were they? The 2-second King God Realm experts didn't even have time to scream. Their bodies turned into ashes in the lightning, disappearing without a trace. This scene was even more shocking than when Lu Ming had killed the 2 first King God Realm experts in just a second. It had almost scared them to death. Die! Lu Ming shouted. His aura was like a rainbow as he punched out again. Some more lightning strikes struck out. This time, a 3rd King God Realm warrior was covered in them. This 3rd King God Realm expert was an ancient senior elder of the Mystic Academy. He had lived for a long time and his strength was formidable. However, at this moment, his face was filled with fear. He tried his best to resist but found that he couldn't resist the lightning bolts. He let out an unwilling scream as all of his defenses were destroyed. The lightning struck his body heavily, cutting off his life force. This 3rd King God Realm expert was turned into a charred body and was blown away. The others on the scene were numb. The experts who were fighting with Lu Ming were almost scared to death. Retreat! Retreat! They screamed crazily, retreating like crazy. Lu Ming was a demon, an invincible demon. No matter how strong they would be devoured by Lu Ming. It's too late to retreat now. Die! Lu Ming roared, dashing forward. Lu Ming, you want to die. At this moment, a furious voice arose. Then, a sword light cut through the void, slashing toward Lu Ming. That sword light was 10,000 zhong long. Its power was earth-shaking. When the sword light appeared, the earth and sky trembled. It crazily pressed down on Lu Ming. Facing that sword, Lu Ming's eyes focused. He didn't have time to chase after the others. He used all of his strength to resist that sword light. Boom! Lu Ming punched out with all his strength. In an instant, more than a dozen lightning bolts shot out from his fist. The lightning bolts intertwined and shot towards the sword light. The lightning and the sword light collided heavily with each other. It was as if 2 planets had collided with each other. A monstrous force erupted, engulfing everything in its path. The surrounding people all retreated frantically, afraid that they would be dragged in. Bang 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 then, more than a dozen lightning bolts collapsed one after another, turning into energy and disappearing. As for that sword light, it was also trembling unceasingly. However, it was still stronger. Although its power was weakening, it did not collapse. After the lightning was completely extinguished, the sword light did not stop and continued to slash at Lu Ming, slashing at Lu Ming's fist. Dang! An intense explosion sounded out as Lu Ming felt a terrifying power rush out from the sword light, causing Lu Ming's body to tremble and he was forced back thousands of meters. How powerful! 4th King God Layer. Lu Ming took a deep breath, suppressing the surging qi and blood in his body. When the sword light dispersed, a figure appeared in the sky. It was the patriarch of the invincible Kens. At this moment, he was staring at Lu Ming with his cold eyes. He wished he could kill Lu Ming in one strike. A terrifying sword light shot out from his body, piercing through the sky. It was 100,000 zhong tall. 4th King God Layer. You have also broken through to the 4th King God Layer. Impossible! Impossible! The patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan shouted in disbelief. First, the patriarch of the Flaming Flame clan had broken through to the 4th King God Layer. Now, the patriarch of the Invincible Kens had also broken through to the 4th King God Layer. What was going on? What 4th King God Layer? The Kongxian school and the Ice Spirit clan were all frightened. The patriarch of the Invincible Kens had also broken through to the 4th King God Layer. Now, their opponents had 3 4th King God Layer experts. How could they fight against them? The excitement they had felt when Lu Ming had shown his invincible strength had disappeared. That's right. 4th King God Layer. Today, you won't be able to cause any trouble. The sect master of the indestructible swordsmanship sect stared at Lu Ming. As he blinked, streams of sword aura shot out. Lu Ming, I admit that I underestimated you. Not only is your strength beyond my imagination, but you also have the help of a powerful metallic life form. However, your fate today is already decided. It can't be changed. The patriarch of the Invincible Kens continued. His voice was cold. Just now, He had already tested Lu Ming's fighting strength. If he hadn't broken through to the fourth king god layer, he wouldn't have been able to defeat Lu Ming. However, now that he had broken through to the fourth king god layer, he was confident that he could suppress Lu Ming. Is that so? Although you're strong, I'm afraid it's not enough to kill me, Lu Ming said. Although the patriarch of the invincible Kens was strong, he wasn't as strong as the Winged Clan's fourth king god layer expert. Back then, at the Nine Extremes Heavenly King Mansion, Lu Ming had also worn the armor that Qiuqiu had transformed into. He had exchanged blows with a fourth-tier king god realm expert. At that time, Lu Ming had been injured. Even Qiuqiu's armor had been broken. This time, Lu Ming had only been pushed back. His qi and blood were surging. Lu Ming was right. It wouldn't be easy for the patriarch to kill him. Is that so? What if you add me? A cold voice arose. Then, the dean of the Mystic Academy stepped forward. He stood next to the patriarch of the invincible Kens, releasing a terrifying aura. His aura wasn't any weaker than the patriarch of the invincible Kens. Add me. As soon as the dean of the Mystic Academy stepped forward, the sacred master of the immeasurable Holy Land also stepped forward. He stood next to the patriarch of the invincible Kens and the Winged Demon Academy, surrounding Lu Ming. His aura was also terrifying. He wasn't any weaker than the two in front of him. Fourth King God Layer. You're all in the Fourth King God Layer. Impossible. How can you all break through to the Fourth King God Layer? The patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan shouted in disbelief. He vaguely felt that they had fallen into a trap today. The others were also shocked. Especially the experts of the top sects. Their faces were even more unsightly. The patriarchs of the three overlords had all broken through to the fourth king god layer. To the Qin Tian Star area, this was going to change drastically. In the future, the top forces would have no way to resist the three overlords. Even the experts of the Flaming Flame clan frowned. In the past, only the Flaming Flame clan and the Ice Spirit clan had fourth king god layer experts. Now, the three overlords all had fourth king god layer experts. There would be many variables in the future. The faces of the Kongshen school and the Ice Spirit clan paled. They were terrified. The difference in strength was too great. Would they really be unable to escape death today? Holy Son Lu Ming, if you have the chance to escape, you must escape. Your talent is rare. As long as you escape, the Kongshen school will have hope to rise again. Yu Wuya secretly transmitted to Lu Ming. With the strength Lu Ming had just displayed, if he didn't care about others and risked his life to break out, he might be able to escape. I, Lu Ming, am not the kind of person who would ignore others and escape alone. Lu Ming smiled faintly and continued, moreover, there's no need to escape when facing these people. Chapter 3101. No. Yu Wuya was startled. Could it be that Lu Ming still had a trump card? Looking at Lu Ming's confident expression, Yu Wuya didn't say anything else. Your cultivation can't have broken through in such a short time. You must have taken a king breakthrough pill, right? Lu Ming glanced at the sect master of the indestructible sword sect and the other two and spoke calmly. The three from the invincible Kens were startled. Lu Ming, why do you care how we broke through? As long as we can kill you, that's enough. Said the Mystic Academy's dean coldly. Haha, ridiculous. According to what I know, although the King Breakthrough pill can help you break through in a short time, the price is that you'll exhaust your potential. You'll never be able to break through again. Said Lu Ming. The expressions of the sect master of the indestructible sword sect and the others changed drastically. They didn't know that the King Breakthrough pill had such a side effect. However, they quickly regained their composure. With their talent, it was already difficult for them to break through. They might have been stuck in the third layer of the God King realm for the rest of their lives. Now that they could break through to the fourth layer, it was worth it. Even if they couldn't break through in the future, they would still be overlords of the Qin Tian Star Zone. The Qin Tian Star Zone doesn't have a King Breakthrough pill. Tell me, who gave you the King Breakthrough pill? Asked Lu Ming loudly. You're about to die, so you talk too much. There are some things you don't have the qualifications to know. The sect master of the indestructible swordsmanship sect shouted coldly. His aura was violent, and a terrifying sword force locked onto Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled in his heart. Even if the other party did not reply, he could guess that the king-breaking elixir was most likely given by the Jin family and the Winged Man family. It was inconvenient for them to send their own experts over. Therefore, they wanted the forces of the Qin Tian Star sector to kill Lu Ming. Come. Just the three of you aren't enough. Scarlet Flame Race, come at me together. Lu Ming looked at the Scarlet Flame Race's patriarch. He wanted to eliminate the enemy's core strength in one fell swoop. Arrogant. You overestimate yourself. The sect master of the Invincible Kens and the dean of the Mystic Academy shouted coldly and made their moves. A beam of sword gleam cut through the sky and charged toward Lu Ming in a mighty manner. At the same time, the dean of the Mystic Academy struck out with his palm. A demonic palm covered a radius of 1,000 miles as it slammed towards Lu Ming. The two overlords of the Qin Heavenly Starfield attacked at the same time. Their strength was earth-shattering, and no one in the Qin Heavenly Starfield could ignore them. Swish Lu Ming used the Nine Heavens Kuan Peng technique, transformed into a huge Kuan Peng, and rushed in a direction. You want to leave? Stay, shouted the Winged Devil Academy's dean. Devilish chi surged, and his devilish palm rapidly grew in size as it shot toward Lu Ming. Break! Lu Ming bellowed and punched out. Streaks of lightning burst out from his fist. The lightning interweaved and blasted towards the devil palm. Boom! The lightning struck the demonic palm, causing it to vibrate violently. In the end, a hole was blasted open. Lu Ming dashed through it and skyrocketed into the starry sky. I already said that you can't kill me. Lu Ming laughed as he flew. Chase! Roared the invincible Ken's master. He turned into a ray of swordlight and chased. At the same time, the Winged Devil Academy's dean and the Boundless Sacred Grounds Sacred Master chased after him. Today, they absolutely couldn't let Lu Ming escape. If Lu Ming didn't die, it wouldn't be long before his power surpassed theirs. On the other side, the Scarlet Flame Race's patriarch's expression changed. He soared into the sky and charged at Lu Ming. His thoughts were similar to the others. They had to kill Lu Ming. They couldn't allow Lu Ming to rise. So he didn't hesitate to join the ranks of those attacking Lu Ming. Despicable! Roared Yu Wuya, the Ice Soul Race's patriarch, and the others. The Scarlet Flame Race's patriarch and the Winged Devil Academy's dean were actually joining hands to deal with a junior. They were truly shameless. But they couldn't interfere. They could only worry. They're finally attacking together. No one noticed that the corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. What he wanted was for the Scarlet Flame Race's patriarch to attack together so he could catch them all in one fell swoop. The reason he had pretended to flee was to draw the Scarlet Flame Race's patriarch's attention. Lu Ming's flying figure suddenly came to a halt. As soon as Lu Ming stopped, the Winged Devil Academy's dean and the others immediately chased after him. The four experts surrounded Lu Ming. Let's see where you can run now, roared the Winged Devil Academy's dean. Don't waste words with him. Attack together and kill him, shouted the invincible Ken's master. He didn't know why, but he didn't feel confident facing a junior like Lu Ming. He wished he could immediately kill Lu Ming. Only then would he be at ease. I've been waiting for you. Lu Ming sneered and a small pagoda flew out of his hand. This small pagoda was the king pagoda that Blue Merchant had given him. As soon as the king pagoda flew out, it rapidly grew in size and emitted profound fluctuations. It immediately enveloped the Winged Devil Academy's dean, the invincible Ken's master, the Boundless Sacred Lands Sacred Master, and the Scarlet Flame Race's patriarch. Once they were enveloped by the king pagoda, their divine energy fluctuated and their auras weakened. What's going on? What kind of treasure is this? The four of them roared in fright. They had never seen a treasure like the king pagoda before. A treasure like the king subduing pagoda was rare even in the Qin Tian Star area. Most of them could only affect low-level king god kings in the first or second king god layers. There were very few that could affect fourth-level god kings. This was something that Blue Merchant had personally refined. Kill. Lu Ming took this chance to attack the Winged Devil Academy's dean. Creak. Cho turned into a suit of armor. Its power was completely under Lu Ming's control. Lu Ming clenched his fist, and endless lightning filled the air. It turned into a lightning spear that pierced towards the Winged Devil Academy's dean. The Winged Devil Academy's dean roared and used his full strength to attack. However, his star core was suppressed by the King Pagoda. When he tried to use his divine energy, he was met with great resistance. He could only use 60 to 70% of his strength to attack. However, the Winged Devil Academy's dean had relied on the King Breakthrough Pill to forcibly break through. Furthermore, he had just broken through, so his foundation wasn't stable. Although he was a 4th-level God King, he was one of the weakest among them. He couldn't block Lu Ming and Cho's attack. Boom! The lightning spear directly pierced through the Winged Devil Academy's dean's demonic palm. The spear didn't stop and flashed past. Pu. The spear directly pierced through the Winged Devil Academy's dean's forehead. The Winged Devil Academy's dean stiffened, his eyes filled with disbelief. Then, with a miserable shriek, his body exploded. Countless tiny bolts of lightning shot out of his body. The Winged Devil Academy's dean had died. The people who witnessed this scene were almost frightened to death. The Winged Devil Academy's dean, an overlord of the Qin Tian Starfield, had died just like that. He had been killed by a junior. Chapter 3102. Kill. After killing the Winged Demon Academy's dean, Lu Ming didn't hesitate at all. His figure flickered as he charged toward the Invincible Ken's sect master. Not good. The Invincible Ken's sect master's expression changed greatly. He hurriedly retreated, not daring to clash head-on with Lu Ming. However, under the suppression of the King Subduing Pagoda, his strength was greatly reduced just like the Winged Demon Academy's dean. Even his speed was greatly reduced. Lu Ming, on the other hand, was not affected at all. In the blink of an eye, he closed in on the sect master of the Indestructible Sword sect. The lightning spear condensed again and he charged toward the sect master of the Indestructible Sword sect. Block it for me. The Invincible Ken's sect master roared as he slashed out with his sword with all his strength. Boom! The lightning spear collided with the Invincible Ken's sect master's swordlight, causing a shocking explosion. Countless tiny bolts of lightning and sword chi shot out in all directions. Then, the Invincible Ken's sect master's swordlight violently vibrated and exploded with a boom. The lightning spear didn't stop as it continued to stab toward the Invincible Ken's sect master. The Invincible Ken's roared as it frantically used its remaining strength to dodge to the side. However, it was still a step too late. Half of its body was struck and exploded. The Invincible Ken's sect master was heavily injured and frantically retreated, wanting to escape. However, how could Lu Ming let him escape? Sizzle, Lu Ming punched out, and a total of 7 lightning bolts as thick as a human waist shot toward the Invincible Ken's sect master, enveloping him within. I'm not willing to accept this. The Invincible Ken's sect master roared as he turned into ashes amidst the lightning. Another Overlord-level character had been killed. Run! Run! At this moment, the Scarlet Flame Patriarch and the Boundless Sacred Grounds Sacred Leader were so scared that they almost pissed their pants. The two of them fled in 2 different directions. Lu Ming did not hesitate in the slightest. He immediately chased after the Scarlet Flame Patriarch. Comparatively speaking, he would rather let go of the Boundless Sacred Grounds Sacred Master than the Flame Clan's Patriarch. The King's Suppression Pagoda enveloped the Scarlet Flame Tribe's Patriarch and followed him like a shadow. He couldn't escape at all and was quickly caught up by Lu Ming. As for the Immeasurable Sacred Grounds Sacred Master, he had escaped the range of the King Subduing Pagoda. People of the immeasurable Holy Land, follow me. Retreat. Boundless Holy Land's Holy Lord roared. He had managed to escape with great difficulty, so he no longer dared to oppose Lu Ming. He called out to the people of Boundless Holy Land and madly flew out of the star system, disappearing without a trace. Let's go, let's go. Retreat. The people of the Winged Demon Academy and the Invincible Kens no longer had the heart to stay after seeing their principals and sect masters killed. They all began to flee. Don't let them escape. Kill them. The Ice Soul Patriarch was an extremely decisive person. How could he let go of this opportunity? He roared and charged towards the two great sects. The immeasurable Holy Land had fled. As for the Winged Demon Academy and the Invincible Kens, many of their experts had been killed by Lu Ming, especially the few third-layer Godly King experts. They were all killed by Lu Ming. No one could stop the Ice Soul Patriarch. The other experts of the Ice Soul Patriarch charged towards the Scarlet Flame tribe. A chaotic battle unfolded. The Ice Soul Patriarch was invincible. He killed the Invincible Kens and several Godly King experts of the Winged Demon Academy in a few moves. At this moment, Lu Ming caught up with the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch. "Ancestor, save me!" The patriarch of the Flaming tribe shouted in horror. He wanted to call the Flaming Ancestor to save him, but the ancestor of the Flaming tribe couldn't leave because the ancestor of the Ice Soul clan was attacking him with all his might. The two ancestors were locked in a fierce battle. Die. After Lu Ming caught up with the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch, he launched a fierce attack. The Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch had also broken through after consuming a King Breakthrough pill. He was on the same level as the Winged Demon Academy's dean and the Invincible Kens's patriarch. He couldn't stop Lu Ming's attacks. After enduring two moves with all his might, he was killed by Lu Ming. With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming put away the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch's storage ring. Then, he charged towards the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch. The Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch and the Ice Soul Patriarch were engaged in a fierce battle. When he saw Lu Ming charging towards him, the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch was almost scared to death. He fought with all his might, trying to escape. However, the Ice Soul Patriarch knew that this was the best time to kill the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch. How could he let him escape? The Ice Soul Patriarch risked his own injuries to tie down the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch. He set up countless ice mountains in the sky to block the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch. Those who cultivated ice-attributed divine power were more effective in intercepting the patriarch. Get lost. Get lost. The Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch kept roaring. His body was like a star as he launched crazy attacks, trying to break out of the encirclement and escape. One by one, the icebergs exploded, but immediately, more icebergs formed in their place. Buzz. At this moment, Lu Ming arrived. The king-subduing pagoda emitted a dazzling light that enveloped the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch. The Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch's aura suddenly weakened. His star core was greatly suppressed. However, the Ice Soul Patriarch was completely fine. How could the Ice Soul Patriarch miss this opportunity? He formed an ice sword and slashed out. Boom. Half of the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch's body was severely injured. Lu Ming didn't even need to do anything. The Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch and the Ice Soul Patriarch's strength were originally on par. Now that the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch was suppressed by the king-subduing pagoda, his strength was greatly weakened. He wasn't a match for the Ice Soul Patriarch at all. After being heavily injured in one move, the Scarlet Flame tribe's patriarch barely managed to block a few moves before he was killed by the Ice Soul Patriarch. At this point, the boundless sacred ground had escaped. The Scarlet Flame tribe, the Invincible Kens, and the Winged Demon Academy's top experts had all fallen. As for the other top sects, they had long since fled. Lu Ming and the others couldn't be bothered to care about them. Young friend Lu Ming, many thanks. The Ice Soul Patriarch cupped his fists and thanked Lu Ming. Senior, there's no need to be so polite. Let's deal with the Invincible Kens and the Winged Demon Academy first. Lu Ming said. Okay. The Ice Soul Patriarch nodded and charged towards the Scarlet Flame tribe. Although there were still some experts among the Scarlet Flame tribe that were fighting with the Ice Soul Patriarch, the situation was completely one-sided with the Ice Soul Patriarch. The Scarlet Flame tribe's experts were killed one after another by the Ice Soul Patriarch. Lu Ming controlled the King's Suppression Pagoda and charged towards the Invincible Kens and the Winged Demon Academy. There weren't many experts left from the Invincible Kens and the Winged Demon Academy. Some of them had been killed by the Ice Soul Patriarch, so there were even fewer left. There was almost no suspense in this battle. Not long after, the experts of the major forces were killed one by one, especially those above the Divine King realm. They were all killed. Only a few of them managed to escape. However, some heavenly gods managed to escape, but the top experts of these sects were all slaughtered. They were only in name now. Soon, they would be occupied by other sects. From then on, the situation of the Qin Tian starfield would change drastically. Not long after, the area finally quieted down. The battle had come to an end. Chapter 3103. The battle had come to an end. In the end, the experts of the Winged Demon Academy, the Invincible Kens, and the Flame tribe had all been killed. Ha ha ha. The patriarch of the Ice Soul clan laughed heartily. He was overjoyed. The Ice Soul clan had benefited greatly from this battle. Not only had they eliminated the Dark Ice tribe, but they had also eliminated their archenemy, the Flame tribe. After leaving this place, he could lead his army to invade the Flame tribe's territory. From then on, the Ice Soul clan would become stronger and stronger. It would not be impossible for them to return to their former glory. The other members of the Ice Soul clan were also smiling. Not only the Ice Soul clan, but everyone in the Kongxian school was also happy. After this battle, the Winged Demon Academy and the Invincible Kens had been eliminated. Of the three overlords, only the Boundless Sacred Land was left. Although the Boundless Sacred Land was stronger than before, the Kongxian school had Lu Ming. They would most likely surrender obediently. In the future, the Qin 13 sects would be led by the Kongxian school. How could they not be happy? Just as everyone was happily cleaning up the battlefield, a voice suddenly rang out. Lu Ming suddenly felt a chill in his heart. He raised his head and shouted, "Who is it?" Whoosh! As soon as Lu Ming's voice fell, a pitch-black blade light slashed down from the sky. The blade light was extremely fast. It was not aimed at Lu Ming, but the Ice Soul clan's forefather. The Ice Soul clan's forefather's expression changed drastically. He roared and unleashed all his divine power. He pushed his hands out and instantly set up dozens of ice walls above his head. However, when the pitch-black blade light slashed down, the ice walls shattered one after another. In an instant, the dozens of ice walls were all cut open. The blade light did not stop and slashed toward the Ice Soul clan's forefather. Poochie. There was a flash of blood as the Ice Soul clan's forefather was cut in half. Fortunately, the Ice Soul clan's forefather had avoided being hit in the head at the critical moment. Only his body was hit, but he was still severely injured. 5th level King God Realm. The Ice Soul clan's forefather shouted in horror. He could sense that the attacker was a 5th level King God Realm cultivator. What? 5th King God layer? The others were also shocked. Boom, boom, boom. At that moment, a terrifying aura came from the sky. A terrifying pressure pressed down on them. Following that, several black-robed figures appeared in the sky. Lu Ming scanned the area and discovered that there was a total of 18 black-robed men. They were scattered in all directions, keeping a distance from each other. Each of them exuded a terrifying aura, locking onto everyone present, especially Lu Ming. Every single one of them exuded a terrifying aura. Even the weakest of them was no weaker than the Ice Soul clan's old ancestor. The weakest one is in the 4th King God realm. The face of the Ice Spirit clan's old ancestor was deathly pale. The others were just as horrified. Among the 18 black-cloaked men, the lowest cultivation base was at the 4th sky of King God realm. Some of them had a terrifying aura, which was several times stronger than the 4th sky of King God realm. That was definitely a cultivator of the 5th God King layer or above. Why would so many experts appear here all of a sudden? Furthermore, they didn't seem to be here with good intentions. I thought we didn't have to do anything. Who would have thought that those people would be so weak? One of the black-cloaked men said coldly. Although his face couldn't be seen clearly, everyone could feel his cold gaze fixed on Lu Ming. "It seems like you're here to kill me?" Lu Ming asked. "You're quite smart. Not bad, but you can also get rid of everyone here," the black-cloaked man said, his voice filled with murderous intent. The people of the Ice Soul clan and the Kongxian school turned pale. If these experts wanted to kill them, They were dead meat. Although Lu Ming had the king subduing pagoda, how could he deal with so many experts? Who sent you guys here? The Jin family? The winged family? No, it can't be. Lu Ming paused for a moment. His eyes glittered as he said, "Are you sent by the culprit who stole the 9 extinction divine crystal?" The black-cloaked men remained silent. Lu Ming knew that he had guessed correctly. The Jin family, the winged family, and the Qin family were all being watched by the Wu family. It was impossible for them to send so many experts here without anyone noticing. There was only one possibility. They were sent by the culprit who stole the 9 extinction divine crystal. Lu Ming wasn't surprised. Instead, he was happy. Perhaps this time, he could find the culprit. Who was it? Don't talk nonsense with them. Attack and kill them to prevent more trouble, another black-cloaked man said coldly. Then, he slashed his saber at Lu Ming. The power of this slash was earth-shattering. It was several times stronger than the slash that was aimed at the ancestor of the Ice Soul clan. This person's cultivation had probably surpassed the 5th layer of the Divine King realm and reached the 6th layer of the Divine King realm. Facing such an expert, Lu Ming couldn't do anything. The difference between their cultivation levels was too great. Only death awaited him. However, Lu Ming still had Jiyu Mo by his side. Jiyu Mo hadn't made a move before. He had even allowed the boundless Sacred Grounds sacred leader to escape. Senior Jiyu Mo, I'll leave it to you. Lu Ming sent a message to Jiyu Mo through telepathy. Finally, you want me to make a move? Jiyu Mo chuckled. Then, he appeared in front of Lu Ming and flicked his finger. Boom. As Jiyu Mo flicked his finger, the air exploded violently. An extremely terrifying energy rushed forward. The black-cloaked man's saber light was like a piece of paper. It crumbled under the terrifying energy. Then, the energy moved toward the black-cloaked man. Ah! The black-robed man only had time to let out a blood-curdling scream before his body was turned into ashes by the force. Jiyu Mo had killed a 6th layer of the Divine King realm expert with a flick of his finger. Silence. The scene fell into a dead silence. Everyone, including the remaining black-cloaked men, looked at Jiyu Mo in shock. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. A terrifying expert was killed by Jiyu Mo with a flick of his finger. What kind of existence was he? Not good. There's a terrifying expert on the other side. Retreat. One of the black-cloaked men reacted and shouted. They clearly knew that the man in the black cloak was a genuine expert of the 6th King God layer. If he could kill a 6th King God layer expert with a flick of his finger, he had to be at least of the 8th King God layer or even higher. Facing such an expert, no matter how many of them there were, only death awaited them. These black-cloaked men were very decisive. Their bodies flickered and they rushed in a direction. They wanted to escape. Trying to escape under my nose. Ridiculous. Jiyu Mo said coldly. Then, he opened his mouth and sucked. Huff. 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 Suddenly, a terrifying suction force burst out from Jiyu Mo's mouth. It swept across the sky and enveloped all the black-cloaked men. The flying figures of the black-robed men immediately stiffened. Then, they flew backwards towards the Bone Devil's mouth. Chapter 3104. Arth. These black-robed people screamed in fright. Then, they attacked with all their might. Terrifying attacks burst out one after another. However, as soon as they attacked, their attacks automatically dissipated. Then, one by one, the black-robed men flew into the Bone Demon's mouth and disappeared. Leave some of them for questioning. Lu Ming shouted. He was afraid that the Bone Demon would swallow them all. The Bone Devil nodded and sucked. The dozen or so black-robed men flew into its mouth and were devoured. Only 2 of them were left, but their cultivation bases were crippled and they fell to the ground. This, the Ice Spirit clan and the Kongxian school were dumbfounded. They felt like they were dreaming. Each and every one of the black-robed men was a terrifying existence. Each and every one of them gave them the feeling that they were invincible. Just now, one of them had severely injured the ancestor of the Ice Spirit clan. From the ancestor of the Ice Spirit clan, They knew that the weakest of the black-robed men was in the fourth layer of the king god realm. Any one of these experts was an existence that could move unhindered in the Qin Tian starfield and become the overlord of the Qin Tian starfield. However, all of them had been swallowed by an inconspicuous man beside Lu Ming. And this burly man seemed to be very obedient to Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming was unfathomable in everyone's eyes. So, he has such a terrifying expert by his side. No wonder he's been so calm all this time. The patriarch of the Ice Spirit clan muttered. However, he heaved a sigh of relief. At least they were safe. Tell me. Who's behind you? Tell me and I'll give you a quick death. Lu Ming came to the last two black-robed men and started interrogating them. Kill us if you want. Don't expect us to say a word. One of the black-robed men said coldly. You're quite stubborn. Lu Ming's gaze was cold as he stepped forward, crushing the arm of one of the black-robed men. However, the black-robed man only let out a low roar and coldly stared at Lu Ming, not saying a single word. Lu Ming, it seems like these people are specially trained death-sworn. Their bones are tough, and it's almost impossible to get any information out of them. Leave them to me. I'll search their souls, Jiyumo said. Another death warrior. Lu Ming's eyes were cold. Back then in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion, he was ambushed by some death warriors when he set off from the Wu clan to the Starry Sky Camp. Were the two groups of death warriors sent by the same force? All right, I'll leave it to you, Lu Ming said. Jiyumo nodded and stepped forward to search his soul. But when the Bone Devil began to soul-search them, the two black-robed men let out miserable screams. Their bodies trembled, and then their heads exploded. They directly died. Just as I expected, their souls were placed with a powerful seal. Once their souls are searched, they will explode. Jiyumo shook his head. Damn it! Lu Ming shouted in a low voice. These people were definitely sent by the person who stole the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal. Unfortunately, the clues were cut off. Ice Tribe leader, pack up. Let's go back. Lu Ming then said to the Ice Spirit Tribe leader. All right, all right. The Ice Spirit Tribe leader nodded repeatedly. At this moment, Lu Ming's position in his heart was high and untouchable. As long as Lu Ming gave the order, he could easily dominate the Qin Tian starfield. Of course, Lu Ming had no intention of dominating the Qin Tian starfield. After cleaning up the battlefield, they left one after another. After some time, the Ice Spirit tribe returned to their territory, while Lu Ming and the Kongxian school returned to Kongxian planet. Not long after, the news of the battle with the Dark Ice tribe spread like a hurricane throughout the Qin Tian starfield. The entire Qin Tian starfield was shaken. It was as if a strong wind was blowing. Countless people were dumbfounded. Everyone knew that the Qin Tian starfield was about to change. Sure enough, one of the three overlords, the immeasurable Sacred Ground's sacred leader, personally led people to the Kongxian school and expressed his willingness to follow the Kongxian school's lead and obey the Kongxian school's orders. The immeasurable sacred leader was scared out of his wits by the Dark Ice tribe. After fleeing back to the immeasurable sacred ground, he could not eat or sleep in peace. Lu Ming's strength was too strong, and he was still growing rapidly. Even if he hid in the immeasurable sacred ground and focused on defense, he could not be at ease. Thus, he led people to surrender. The enmity between the immeasurable sacred ground and Lu Ming wasn't that great. Lu Ming also couldn't be bothered to exterminate them, so he accepted the immeasurable sacred ground's surrender. As soon as the news spread, the other top sects of the Qin Tian 13 sects could no longer sit still. They led people to surrender, and all of them surrendered to the Kongxian school. In an instant, the Kongxian school's prestige soared. Of course, Lu Ming was too lazy to care about this. He left it all to Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Wuya, and the others. Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Wuya, and the others were also very fast. After the immeasurable sacred ground and the other sects surrendered, they immediately gathered these sects and launched an attack on the Invincible Kens and the Winged Devil Academy's territory. There was no suspense at all. Almost all of the God King realm experts of the Winged Devil Academy and the Invincible Kens fell in the battle against the Dark Ice tribe. Even if there were some left, They couldn't withstand a single blow from the combined forces of the Kongxian school and the immeasurable sacred ground. In just a few months, the huge territory that the invincible Kens and the Winged Devil Academy had originally occupied was occupied by the Kongxian school. Naturally, these territories all belonged to the Kongxian school. The original invincible Kens and the Winged Devil Academy's geniuses either surrendered or fled. For example, the invincible Ken's son, Sword Dao Wuji, had fled, and his whereabouts were unknown. As for Ling Hu Yi, the genius who had competed with Lu Ming in the past, he surrendered and joined the Kongxian school. For a time, the Kongxian school had become the overlord of the Qin Tian Star Zone. At the same time, the Ice Soul race had also gathered an army and launched an attack on the Flame race. Not long after the Kongxian school had occupied the invincible Kens and the Mystic Academy's territories, the Ice Soul race had also completely conquered the Flame race. The Flame race was almost completely annihilated. The remaining members fled across the universe and fled to other star zones. The Qin Tian Star Zone had become the domain of the Ice Soul race and the Kongxian school. The two forces had practically divided the vast territory of the Qin Tian Star Zone, and all of this was caused by one person, Lu Ming. Lu Ming's name resounded throughout the Qin Tian Star Zone, and he became a legend. During this time, Lu Ming had taken time to return to the chaotic astral river and brought Lu Shenhuang, ancestral dragon, 9 lives demonic cicada, and the others to the Qin Tian Star Zone to cultivate. They had originally wanted to go out and explore, and now was the right time to come to the Qin Tian Star Zone. With Lu Ming's current reputation, many of the Kongxian school's resources would be tilted towards them, and they would improve very quickly. After dealing with Qin Tian's matters, Lu Ming returned to the Juju Heavenly King residence. Now that the matters in the Qin Tian Star Zone had been resolved, Lu Ming had to put all his attention on Jingyu's matter. Chapter 3105. Now, Lu Ming's main goal was to deal with Jingyu's matter. While increasing his strength, he would also prepare for Jingyu's matter. After a long journey, Lu Ming returned to the starry camp. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming saw a huge battle the moment he returned to the starry camp. In the sky, a few young men were fighting fiercely and it was a chaotic battle. Lu Ming took a closer look and realized that the young men belonged to two different families. How dare you accuse my Liu family of stealing the 9 extinction divine crystal? You're courting death. One of the young men roared. Who else could it be if not your Liu family? The young man who was fighting with him sneered. I said it was your Zhong family who stole the 9 extinction divine crystal. Your Zhong family is the mastermind. The young man from before shouted. Bullshit. Kill. Both sides were locked in a fierce battle and there were many onlookers in the surroundings. In the end, both sides suffered heavy injuries and were wary of each other. Hence, they ended the battle and retreated. Lu Ming pondered for a moment before heading to the place where Blue Merchant lived. You got the 9 extinction divine crystal? Blue Merchant smiled. I got it. Lu Ming smiled and took out the 9 extinction divine crystal and passed it to Blue Merchant. Blue Merchant could pass the 9 extinction divine crystal to the Heavenly King divine guards. After that, there was nothing for him to do. I didn't misjudge you. Lan Shong laughed and sized Lu Ming up carefully. You should have cultivated the Universe 10,000 Tao Sutra and mastered many kinds of divine-grade divine powers, right? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat but he soon felt relieved. According to Jingyu, he had obtained the Universe Myriad Tao technique from an ancient ruin and almost no one knew about it. However, that didn't mean that no one knew about it. Blue Merchant was Jingyu's teacher and it was normal for him to know about it. Yes. Lu Ming nodded and admitted it. There are advantages and disadvantages to being able to wield multiple types of divine power. The advantage is that it can make your combat strength extremely powerful. Every time you break through a level, your combat strength will skyrocket, far surpassing those of the same level. However, there are also many disadvantages. First, the energy required for cultivation is too much. The speed at which you have improved has already exceeded my expectations. The other thing is that you need to comprehend the divine power of origin. For an ordinary person, It would take them a lifetime to comprehend the divine power of origin. Moreover, you have to comprehend so many different types of divine power. Blue Merchant said all of this in one breath. He paused and pondered for a moment before continuing. Therefore, you have to act according to your ability. The amount of divine power you have is not the more you have, but it has to be within your control. If it seriously affects your cultivation, you have to reduce the amount of divine power you cultivate. Alright, Lu Ming understands. Lu Ming nodded. He had discovered this long ago. Therefore, during this period of time, he did not cultivate the other divine grade techniques that he had obtained. He was afraid that he would bite off more than he could chew. Show me all of the divine powers you have mastered. I want to see how far you have mastered them. Blue Merchant said. Lu Ming nodded. Then, he performed the 7 types of divine grade divine powers that he had mastered one by one. The Sovereign's divine power has already awakened the divine power of origin. The indestructible sword force is 99% awakened. As for the others, there is still a long way to go, Blue Merchant muttered under his breath. Then, a jade token appeared in his hand and he handed it to Lu Ming, saying, among the divine powers you have mastered, I am most familiar with the Sovereign's divine power. The divine power I mastered in the past was also the Sovereign's divine power. Here are some of my cultivation experiences. Take a look. As for the other divine powers, I need some time to prepare. You can go back first and come to me after some time. I will guide you in cultivating the other divine powers. Many thanks, Uncle Lan Shu. Lu Ming received the jade token and quickly expressed his gratitude. He was overjoyed in his heart. Blue Merchant was Jing Yu's teacher in the past. Before the Star Core was destroyed, he was one of the strongest experts in the Taishu dynasty. His strength was unfathomable. With Blue Merchant's cultivation experiences and his guidance, Lu Ming's cultivation speed would definitely increase exponentially. He would not have to take many detours. Ian, you can go back and take a look, Blue Merchant said. Lu Ming bid farewell and left Blue Merchant's residence. He headed back to his own residence. However, when he was near his residence, he saw 2 young men fighting fiercely. Lu Ming found it strange. Although the space camp was filled with competition, the frequency of fights was not as high. He had just returned and he had already seen several big fights. There were many people watching from the side. Lu Ming immediately saw Wu Ming and Wu Yu. Lu Ming flew over. Lu Ming, you're back. Wu Ming and Wu Yu were overjoyed when they saw Lu Ming. It's Lu Ming. Others also saw Lu Ming, especially the geniuses from the Jin family and the Qin family. There was a flash of surprise in their eyes when they saw Lu Ming. In their eyes, Lu Ming was most likely going to die in Qin Tian Starfield. They did not expect that Lu Ming was still alive and had returned to the space camp. This made the other sects feel uncomfortable. Lu Ming ignored the Jin and Qin family's sky prides and landed beside Wu Ming and Wu Yu. He asked, "What's going on?" When I returned, I saw several fights. It's because of the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal, Wu Ming said. 9 Extinction Divine Crystal? Lu Ming was surprised. Wasn't the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal given to him to handle in Qin Tian Starfield? What did it have to do with these families? Although we know the whereabouts of the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal, we've confirmed one thing. There's a spy in the 9 Extinction Heavenly Lord Mansion who helped outsiders steal the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal. However, this spy was not found. Hence, the families in the 9 Extinction Heavenly Lord Mansion began to suspect each other, especially those families who have a grudge against each other. They accused each other of being the spy and the conflict intensified. Wu Ming explained. Hence, in the space camp, the sky prides of the various families were fighting each other. Outside the space camp, the families were even attacking each other. Some families were in a frenzy. Now, the 9 Extinction Heavenly Lord Mansion is in chaos, Wu Yu explained. Lu Ming was stunned. He did not expect the 9 Extinction Divine Crystal to cause so much trouble. In the air, the 2 young men exchanged more than 100 blows. In the end, the young man escaped with serious injuries and the battle ended. Lu Ming chatted with Wu Ming and Wu Yu for a while before flying back to his residence. The sky prides of the Jin and Qin families looked at the direction where Lu Ming left with cold eyes. They exchanged a few words and left the space camp. They were most likely going back to report the news. Young master. When Lu Ming returned to his courtyard, Qiu Autumn Moon flew out with a joyful face. She had been worried about Lu Ming going back to Qin Tian Starfield alone to steal the 9 extinction divine crystal. Now that Lu Ming had returned, she was relieved. Qiu Autumn Moon, you've made a breakthrough in your cultivation? Lu Ming looked at Qiu Autumn Moon and was surprised. After not seeing her for a while, Qiu Autumn Moon's cultivation had broken through to the half-step Divine King realm. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. Chapter 3106. Autumn Moon's cultivation had reached the half-step Divine King realm. When Lu Ming went to Qin Tian Starfield, Autumn Moon's cultivation was only at level 9 Heavenly God realm. In addition to the time taken to travel, it had only been a few years. This speed was too exaggerated. Yes. Autumn Moon nodded and said, it's mainly because I have not digested the last inheritance. That's why my cultivation has progressed so fast. Good. Lu Ming was overjoyed. The faster Autumn Moon progressed, the happier he was. After chatting with Autumn Moon for a while, the two entered their respective rooms to cultivate. However, after Lu Ming entered his room, he could not calm down. His mind was still troubled by the person behind the 9 extinction divine crystal. Who is this person behind the scenes? What is his purpose? Lu Ming frowned and pondered. He had a feeling that the person behind the scenes had instructed the Dark Ice tribe to steal the 9 extinction divine crystal but did not take it himself. His purpose was definitely not that simple. How can I find out who is behind the scenes? Lu Ming whispered. The person behind the scenes had sent men of sacrifice to kill him several times. Lu Ming would not be at ease until he found out who was behind the scenes. Who knew if he would be assassinated again when he went out in the future? Lu Ming could not guarantee that he would be safe every time. How can I find out who is behind the scenes? Are there any clues that I have overlooked? Lu Ming calmed down and thought quietly. Thoughts flashed across his mind as he recalled the incident of the 9 extinction god crystal being stolen from him. Wait, suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He realized that he had overlooked an important clue. This clue was the Demon Capital Mountain. In the Demon Capital Mountain, Lu Ming had heard more than once that the Demon Capital Mountain had a backer in the 9 extinction Heavenly King Mansion. Therefore, no one dared to touch the demonic night spring of the Demon Capital Mountain. Otherwise, with the Dark Night Demon King's cultivation, he would not be able to protect the demonic night spring. It was very obvious that Devil Capital Mountain's backer was very likely the mastermind behind the 9 extinction god crystal incident. And there must be people who knew who the backer behind the Devil Capital Mountain was, which was why they didn't dare to make a move. If it was just hearsay, how could those powers resist the temptation of the Devil Night Spring? If that was the case, wouldn't they be able to find the mastermind behind the Demon Capital Mountain as long as they could find out who was backing them? That's right, I actually overlooked such a simple thing. Lu Ming clapped his hands and shook his head with a bitter smile. He had been so focused on the evidence left behind by the Night Devil that he neglected such a simple logical problem. Go ask Wu Zifeng. Lu Ming smiled and secretly left the Starry Sky Camp, heading towards the Wu clan. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the Wu residence and saw Wu Zifeng. In a courtyard, Lu Ming, Wu Zifeng, and Yu Linglong sat at a round table. During this period of time, Yu Linglong had been cultivating in the Wu clan. Their cultivation had progressed very quickly and they had both stepped into the Heavenly God realm. Zifeng, you should have heard that Devil Capital Mountain has the 9 extinction Heavenly King Mansion backing them. I've been thinking about something. Since other forces don't dare to have any ideas about the Devil Capital Mountain, they must know who the backer behind the Devil Capital Mountain is. As long as we find out who the backer behind the Devil Capital Mountain is, it would be equivalent to finding the mastermind behind the theft of the 9 extinction god crystal. Lu Ming said. That's right, why didn't I think of that? Wu Zifeng clapped his hands and his eyes lit up. Does your Wu clan know who the backer behind the Devil Capital Mountain is? Lu Ming asked. I'm afraid I don't know. Wu Zifeng shook his head. You don't know? Lu Ming was surprised. Yes, rumor has it that the Devil Capital Mountain has a backer behind them. Other forces don't dare to have any ideas about them. Those forces don't refer to the forces of the Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion, Wu Zifeng said. Why do you say that? Lu Ming asked. Although the Devil Capital Mountain's Devil Night Spring is precious, the forces of the Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion don't put it in their eyes. For example, our Wu clan, Jin clan, Qin clan, etc. Although some of them have heard of the Devil Capital Mountain, they don't put it in their eyes at all. They are too lazy to send people to deal with the Devil Capital Mountain. It's not that they are afraid of their so-called backer. Those forces that are afraid of the backer behind the Devil Capital Mountain should be referring to the major forces of the Chu Tien Starfield. Wu Zifeng explained. I see. Lu Ming suddenly understood. The Chu Tien Starfield was close to the Qin Tien Starfield. It was also the border of the Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion. Powerful forces like the Wu clan and Jin clan didn't care about the Devil Capital Mountain at all. Naturally, there was no such thing as fear. Those who had ideas about the Devil Capital Mountain and those who were afraid of the backer behind the Devil Capital Mountain were only the forces of the Chu Tien Starfield. For example, in the Qin Tien Starfield, if a small force had some kind of treasure, only the Qin Tien 13 sects, the Ice Soul race, or the Scarlet Flame race would have their eyes on it. As for the Wu clan and Jin clan, why would they care about the treasure of a small force? Then as long as we find the powerful forces of the Chu Tien Starfield and find out who they are afraid of, wouldn't we know who the mastermind is? Lu Ming's eyes lit up again. That's right. As far as I know, there are a total of 2 strongest forces in the Chu Tien Starfield. One is the Wind Moon sect, the other is the ancient Han clan, Wu Zifeng said. Alright, I'll make a trip to the Chu Tien Starfield, Lu Ming said. Wait, Brother Lu, I'll find someone familiar with the Chu Tien Starfield to accompany you. After all, the Chu Tien Starfield is too big, Wu Zifeng said. Alright. Lu Ming nodded and did not refuse. Having someone to lead the way was better than him searching blindly. Wu Zifeng took out a voice transmission jade talisman and sent a message. Then, they chatted while waiting. They did not wait for long before a middle-aged man came to the courtyard. Young master, why are you looking for me? The middle-aged man bowed to Wu Zifeng. Wu Shan, it's like this. Wu Zifeng told him what had happened and said, go to the Chu Tien Starfield with Brother Lu and investigate. Yes, young master. Wu Shan accepted the order and looked at Lu Ming, saying, young master Lu, please. Alright, there's no time to lose. Let's go. Lu Ming nodded and said goodbye to Wu Zifeng and Yu Linglong before leaving the Wu clan with Wu Shan. Lu Ming did not return to the Starry Sky Camp. He left the Nine Extinction Heavenly King residence with Wu Shan and took the teleportation formation to the Chu Tien Starfield. On the way, Lu Ming found out that Wu Shan was a 3rd-layer Divine King Realm cultivator. The two of them took the teleportation formation and finally arrived at the Chu Tien Starfield. The 2 biggest forces in the Chu Tien Starfield are the Wind Moon sect and the Han family. These 2 forces have never dared to touch the Demon Capital Mountain. Instead, they often buy the demonic night spring from the Demon Capital Mountain. They definitely know who is behind the Demon Capital Mountain. This place is closer to the Wind Moon sect. Let's go to their headquarters first. Wu Shan suggested. Wu Shan, you're more familiar with this place. You lead the way, Lu Ming said with a smile. Chapter 3107. The 2 of them headed towards the Wind Moon sect's headquarters. However, when they arrived at the Wind Moon sect's headquarters, they were dumbfounded. Dilapidated, ruined, and a complete mess. In the Wind Moon sect's headquarters, the mountain range was destroyed, the ground cracked, and the palace collapsed. It was a doomsday scene. Among the dilapidated walls, there were corpses. On the wide ground, there were corpses everywhere. The smell of blood filled the air. The Wind Moon sect was annihilated. Damn it, we were too late. Lu Ming roared. Obviously, the mastermind wanted to annihilate the sect and erase the evidence. They were one step ahead of them and annihilated the Wind Moon sect. Let's go and see if there are any survivors. Lu Ming suppressed his anger and rushed forward. However, there were corpses everywhere. Not even chickens or dogs were spared. Not a single person was seen alive. Such ruthless means, such ruthless means. Lu Ming roared. Lu Ming was considered someone who had seen big scenes, but such ruthless means were rare. How many people did the Wind Moon sect, a huge force that dominated the Chu Tien Star Zone, have? It was hard to calculate, but now they were all dead. No one was left alive. It seems like these people were killed not long ago. Otherwise, the news would have spread. Wu Shan frowned. Not good, let's go to the Han family. Quick. Lu Ming's face changed. The other party annihilated the Wind Moon sect and would definitely not let the Han family off. Let's go. Wu Shan's face changed too. Immediately, the two of them rushed towards the Han family. The Han family's headquarters was also on a vast planet. On this planet, there was a mountain range with the densest divine aura. Most of the Han family members lived here. However, when Lu Ming and Wu Shan arrived, they discovered that the mountain range had also collapsed. The palace was destroyed and corpses were scattered among the rocks. The smell of blood assailed their nostrils. It was like hell on earth. Damn it! Lu Ming roared. They were too late again. The other party was ruthless. The two of them were unwilling to give up. They searched the ruins to see if they could find any survivors. Unfortunately, they were all corpses. Even the desolate beasts had been killed. Not a single one was left alive. Lu Ming's face was extremely gloomy. It wasn't easy to find a clue. Could it be that it was broken again? Whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out. Several black-robed men rushed out from a broken wall and surrounded the two of them. An ice-cold killing intent enveloped the two of them. It's them. At first glance, Lu Ming recognized that these people were very similar to the death warriors who had tried to assassinate Lu Ming in the Qin Tian Starfield. These people exuded a strong murderous aura, as if they were demons. Did you kill all the people here? Lu Ming asked in an extremely cold voice. Nonsense. Hehe, looks like there are still some fish that escaped the net from the Han clan. They actually came back to court death. A black-robed man said coldly. Suddenly, a saber light burst out from his hand and slashed towards Lu Ming. These people obviously didn't know Lu Ming. The black-robed man who attacked was a first-layer King God Realm cultivator. When he saw that Lu Ming was only a sixth-layer heavenly god, he thought that he could easily kill him. Kill. Lu Ming shouted coldly and threw out a punch. The bracelet on his wrist that was Cho shone and a bolt of lightning shot out. Bang! The saber light of the black-robed man was shattered. The bolt of lightning struck the man's body. The man screamed in pain and turned into ashes. One move, instant kill. The remaining black-robed man was stunned. Then, he shouted angrily, "Kid, you're courting death. Kill them." The remaining 5 black-robed men were enraged and attacked together. These black-robed men were all King God Realm cultivators. The strongest one was at the 3rd layer King God Realm. Logically speaking, they should be able to kill Lu Ming and Cho easily. However, Lu Ming had Cho with him. Kill. Lu Ming shouted and threw out another punch. Cho used all of his strength. Thick bolts of lightning shot out from his hand. The 5 black-robed men were all covered in lightning. Bang! 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 The 5 black-robed men screamed and were sent flying. They fell heavily on the ground. Their bodies had turned into ashes and there was no sign of life. Even the 3rd layer King God Realm cultivator was killed. Since Cho had eaten the treasures Lu Ming had taken from Starmoon Ancient City, its aura had become stronger and stronger. Its cultivation base had increased rapidly. Now, it was close to the 3rd layer King God Realm. Naturally, its strength had also increased. The lightning it shot out could easily kill a 3rd layer King God Realm cultivator. Wu Shan was ready to fight, but when he was about to make a move, he found that the enemy was already dead. "Young Master Lu Ming, you really live up to your reputation," Wu Shan exclaimed. "Wu Shan, these men of sacrifice are still here. It means that the Han family was destroyed not long ago. Let's look around. Maybe there are still survivors," Lu Ming said. Immediately, the two of them started to search the area. However, they were much more careful. They restrained their auras and hid their figures, afraid that the men of sacrifice would discover them. The overall strength of the Chu Tien Star area was much stronger than the Qin Tien Star area. As one of the two overlords of the Chu Tien Star area, the Han family was also very strong. They were much stronger than the Flaming Tribe and the Ice Soul Tribe of the Qin Tien Star area. They definitely had experts above the 5th layer of the King God realm. If they could destroy the Han family in such a short time, the experts sent by the other party were definitely terrifying. If they encountered such experts, Lu Ming and the others would be in trouble. "Be careful. There are people here," Lu Ming suddenly said while walking. He and Wu Shan hid well. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Beams of black light shot up into the sky, breaking through the clouds and rushing into the starry sky. It was the men of sacrifice. The men of sacrifice suddenly left the area, which confused Lu Ming and Wu Shan. The two of them pondered for a while and continued to search the area. However, they found nothing. "There are people over there." After a while, Lu Ming and Wu Shan saw some figures flashing in front of them. They restrained their auras and approached carefully. They saw a few men in black robes. "There are no survivors here. However, we just received news that the core members of the Han family are training outside the Red Flame Star. They probably know our secret. Our superiors want us to go to the Red Flame Star to kill them," one of the men in black robes said. Although his voice wasn't loud, Lu Ming and Wu Shan still heard him. "Let's go. This time, we can't let the core members of the Han family go," another man in black robes said. Then, they shot up into the sky and flew into the starry sky. "There are survivors from the Han family?" Lu Ming's eyes lit up. From what they said, it seemed that the survivors of the Han family might know something important. The men in black robes who had left before were probably heading to the Red Flame Star. The survivors of the Han family must not die. "We must find the survivors of the Han family before the enemy finds them," Lu Ming said firmly. "I know where the Red Flame Star is. Follow me," Wu Shan said. "Okay, let's go." Then, the two of them shot up into the sky and turned into two beams of light, rushing into the starry sky. The two of them crossed the starry sky and came to the nearest teleportation platform. They stepped into the teleportation platform and rushed to the Red Flame Star. Chapter 3108. The Scarlet Flame Planet was located in the south of the Chu Tien Star field. It was a barren land. The environment here was very complicated. Stars would often explode, affecting the environment. The environment here was very hot. On the Scarlet Flame Planet, there were flames everywhere. Many fire elemental creatures and fire elemental treasures were born here. The people of the Chu Tien Star field loved to come here for adventure and training. The Han family had avoided disaster because they had core members who came to the Scarlet Flame Planet for adventure and training. However, the teleportation array could not transport them directly to the Scarlet Flame Planet. It could only transport them to a planet far away from the Scarlet Flame Planet, and they had to fly a long distance. Lu Ming and Wu Shan traversed the starry sky and flew towards the Scarlet Flame Planet. "Lu Ming, I'm hungry. I want to eat. Do you still have the treasures you gave me last time? I want to eat." Suddenly, Chocho's voice rang in Lu Ming's mind. Clearly, the treasures that Lu Ming gave Chocho last time had been refined by Chocho. "Of course. Here." Lu Ming took out a few treasures he obtained from Starmoon Ancient City and gave them to Chocho. Lu Ming obtained about a dozen treasures. These treasures had lost a lot of their spirituality, but the materials were still very precious. Lu Ming planned to let Chocho eat them all. Chocho turned into a metal ball and opened its mouth. It stuffed the treasures into its mouth and started chewing. Wu Shan was dumbfounded. Lu Ming, I feel like I'm about to evolve, Qiu said. Really? Then you have to cultivate well. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Qiu turned back into a bracelet and wore it on Lu Ming's wrist. The two of them continued flying. Even with their cultivation, it took them half a month to reach the Scarlet Flame planet. In the void in front of them, there was a huge scarlet planet that was rotating slowly. The two of them rushed towards the Scarlet Flame planet and slowly descended. Where are the Han family survivors? Lu Ming frowned. On the Scarlet Flame planet, there were mountains that reached into the clouds. On these mountains, there were many scarlet plants. The roars of desolate beasts could be heard constantly. As far as the eye could see, it was boundless. It was extremely difficult to find someone on such a vast and boundless planet. However, even if it was difficult to find, he still had to find it. The two of them flew high up in the sky and began to search. However, after searching for 10 days, he still found nothing. Lu Ming became a little anxious. It's not easy for us to find them, but it's also not easy for those men of sacrifice to find them. This is a good thing, Wu Shan advised. Lu Ming nodded, and the two of them continued their search. In the blink of an eye, another few days passed. Wang. Suddenly, a powerful aura emanated from Lu Ming's wrist. This aura came from Qiu. Qiu flew out from Lu Ming's wrist and turned into a ball. It floated in the air and emitted an aura that grew stronger and stronger. It was about to break through. Qiu was actually about to evolve and break through at a time like this. Lu Ming smiled wryly. Of all times, it had to break through at this moment. However, Lu Ming could only stop and wait for Qiu to complete its breakthrough before continuing. He couldn't just leave Qiu here alone. Wu Shan also looked at Qiu in surprise. He said, Lu Ming, why don't you wait here? I'll look around first. Then I'll have to trouble you. Lu Ming said helplessly. This was the only thing he could do for now. Wu Shan nodded. He turned into a beam of rainbow light and left the place. Lu Ming, on the other hand, waited there. Luckily, Lu Ming didn't have to wait too long this time. A few days later, a powerful attractive force erupted from Qiu's body. The divine qi of heaven and earth frantically converged towards Qiu. Qiu was about to break through. Immediately, Lu Ming took out a large number of high-grade divine crystals and shattered them. They turned into dense divine qi that surged towards Qiu and was absorbed by it. Boom! Suddenly, Qiu's aura skyrocketed. It broke through a bottleneck and entered a new level. Third King God Realm. Qiu had entered the third King God Realm from the second King God Realm. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, a steady stream of divine qi continued to converge towards Qiu, stabilizing its cultivation base. At this moment, Lu Ming took out a sound transmission jade talisman and sent a message to Wu Shan, asking him to come back and meet him. Half a day later, Qiu's aura stabilized. Lu Ming, I've broken through. Ha, your treasures are too effective. Qiu grinned. Lu Ming was also surprised. It seemed that the treasures he had brought back from Starmoon Ancient City were indeed extraordinary. Although their spiritual energy had been severely depleted, it had still helped Qiu break through another level in such a short time. One should know that breaking through to the King God Realm wasn't easy. Now that Qiu had broken through to the third King God Realm, its strength had undoubtedly increased. Amazing. Lu Ming exaggerated. Then, he had Qiu turn into a bracelet and wear it on Lu Ming's wrist. Whoosh. After a while, a beam of light rushed over. It was Wu Shan. Wu Shan, do you have any clues? Lu Ming asked. I do. I just saw a few black-clothed death warriors flying in a direction. I think they might have found the traces of the Han family's survivors, Wu Shan said. What? Let's go, let's follow them. Lu Ming's expression changed. If they found the Han family's survivors first and killed them, then the clues would be cut off. Wu Shan led the way and the two quickly flew in a certain direction. In a flaming valley, a young woman was fighting a flaming lion. The flaming lion was extremely huge. It was dozens of meters tall and had a powerful aura. It was an 8th-layer heavenly god. On the other hand, the young woman was only a 6th-layer heavenly god, but she was evenly matched with the lion. It was obvious that the young woman was also a peerless genius. In fact, the young woman was the third daughter of the Han family's patriarch, Han Ying. She was extremely talented since she was young and had mastered divine-grade divine force. She was the #1 genius of the Han family's younger generation. Not far away, there were 2 old men. They were both in the Divine King realm. They had accompanied Han Ying to the Crimson Flame planet to train. It was obvious that they were unaware that the Han family had been wiped out. Young lady's cultivation is getting stronger. I believe she will soon reach the 7th-layer heavenly god realm, one of the old men said with a smile while stroking his beard. That's right. In a few years, when young lady's cultivation is higher, she will be sent to the 9-Ju Heavenly King Palace to cultivate. If she's lucky enough to join the 9-Ju Heavenly King Palace's Starry Sky Camp, it will be a meteoric rise. In the future, our Han family will be able to surpass the Wind Moon sect and dominate the Chu Tien starfield, the other old man said with a smile. He looked at Han Ying with doting eyes. Roar. The flaming lion roared furiously. Its battle with Han Ying was getting more intense. Han Ying yelled. The long sword in her hand emitted sword rays. Her attacks became sharper and sharper, slowly gaining the upper hand. After a few more moves, Han Ying seized the opportunity and struck the flaming lion's vital point with his sword, killing it. Chapter 3109. Great. The 2 old men clapped their hands and laughed after Han Ying killed the fiery lion. Third mistress, you're only a step away from the 7th-layer heaven god realm. I believe you'll be able to achieve a breakthrough soon. Once you've achieved a breakthrough, we'll head back. I believe the patriarch will be shocked. One of the old men said. Sure, I'll try my best to achieve a breakthrough within 3 months. Han Ying nodded with a firm gaze. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At that instant, several black rays were fired from afar. In just a few breaths' time, more than 10 black-robed figures appeared in the sky, surrounding Han Ying and his crew. Their bodies were emitting icy auras. Han Ying and the 2 old men were shocked. Subconsciously, the 2 old men protected Han Ying in the middle. Who are you? One of the old men asked. You're Han Ying, the 3rd mistress of the Han clan? One of the black-robed figures glanced at Han Ying and asked. That's right, I'm Han Ying. Han Ying said. Hey, very well, we've finally found you. One of the black-robed figures uttered a hollow laugh. You're looking for me? Why are you here? Han Ying asked. Of course, we're here to kill you. The black-robed figure laughed coldly. Han Ying and the 2 old men were startled upon hearing this. Who are you? You should know that we're from the Han clan. If you dare to touch us, the Han clan won't forgive you. Han Ying snapped. The Han clan was one of the overlords of the Chu Tien starfield. They were extremely powerful. In the Chu Tien starfield, very few people dared to not give the Han clan face, let alone kill a member of the Han clan. The Han clan won't forgive us. The black-robed figures burst out laughing mockingly. The black-robed figures did not make their move immediately, as if they wanted to see the despair on Han Ying and her crew's faces. One of them said with a hollow laugh, I bet you have no idea that your Han clan has been eliminated. Not even a chicken or a dog was spared. Only a few of the core members of the Han clan are left. Here. Han Ying and the 2 old men shuddered upon hearing this. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Impossible, you're lying. Are you trying to scare us with such a method? Don't even think about it, we won't fall for it. Han Ying yelled in disbelief. You don't believe me? I'll make you give up then. Take a look at this. One of the black-robed figures took out a shadow stone. The stone glowed and projected a projection. On the screen was the scene of the Han clan being annihilated. One by one, the members of the Han clan were killed on the spot. No. Han Ying's figure began to tremble. His face turned extremely pale, without any sign of blood. The 2 old men from the Han clan were about the same. Aren't you feeling hopeless? More than 10 black-robed men sneered. Seeing Han Ying and the others in despair, they felt very happy. They could have killed Han Ying and the others immediately, but they chose not to do so. They wanted to see the despair in Han Ying and the others. These men of sacrifice had been trained harshly since they were young. Their lives were in the hands of others, and they were a little perverted. Why did you do this? Why did you destroy my Han clan? An old man from the Han clan roared. That's because your Han family knows something you shouldn't know. A black-robed man sneered. I'll kill you. Han Ying screamed. She was about to pounce on the black-robed figures, but one of the old men waved his hand and trapped Han Ying with his divine power. Miss, the Han clan has been destroyed. You can't die. You must escape. One of the old men from the Han clan shouted. That's right. You're the only descendant of the Han clan. You can't die. We'll save you even if we have to risk our lives. You can't die. The other old man shouted. You want to live? How naive. All right, I'll send you on your way, one of the black-robed figures said coldly. His killing intent was cold. Charge. The two old men from the Han clan led Han Ying and launched a fierce attack. The two old men from the Han clan weren't weak. They were both third heaven divine god realm experts. Their attacks were as fast as lightning. Bam! Bam! One of the black-robed figures was careless and was sent flying by the two old men. He spat out blood. You're courting death. The remaining black-robed figures shouted coldly. A few terrifying saber lights shot towards Han Ying and the two old men from the Han clan. They were as fast as lightning. There were two fourth heaven divine god realm experts among the black-robed figures. The two old men from the Han clan were no match for them. As soon as the black-robed figures attacked, the two old men from the Han clan knew that they couldn't stop them. You guys run. I'll hold them back. One of the old men from the Han clan shouted. He turned around and pounced on the black-robed figures. His body emitted a dazzling light. He wanted to detonate his star core to take them down with him. Grandpa Lu. Han Ying screamed. Run. The old man shouted. Then, his body exploded. The explosion of a third heaven divine god realm cultivator was extremely powerful. However, when he self-detonated, the dozen or so black-robed men were already prepared for it. They all retreated at the same time. They were as fast as lightning, avoiding the destructive force produced by the old man's self-destruction. Some of them only suffered light injuries. The remaining old man from the Han clan took Han Ying and flew away quickly. Chase! The black-robed figures shouted coldly. They turned into rays of black light and chased after Han Ying and the old man. The old man from the Han clan was a third heaven divine god realm cultivator. Moreover, he was carrying Han Ying. He couldn't run fast enough. The black-robed figures quickly closed the distance between them. Does God want to destroy the Han clan? Does he want to kill the last member of the Han clan? The old man from the Han clan was furious. He wasn't afraid of death. He was just afraid that he couldn't protect Han Ying. There are people. Suddenly, his eyes lit up as he saw two figures rapidly approaching from the front. Only third heaven divine god realm cultivators. What a pity. The old man from the Han clan became gloomy immediately. Of course, he saw Lu Ming and Wu Shan. He thought that Lu Ming and Han Ying had come out to train. Third heaven divine god realm cultivators couldn't help them. You two, run. It's dangerous here. The old man from the Han clan shouted to warn Lu Ming and the others. However, Lu Ming and the others had come for Han Ying. How could they leave? They continued to rush towards Han Ying and the old man from the Han clan. Die. At that moment, the two black-robed figures were about to catch up with Han Ying and the others. They slashed their sabers. A terrifying saber light slashed towards Han Ying at an astonishing speed. Be careful. Lu Ming shouted. He was still a distance away from Han Ying and the others. He wanted to help them, but it was too late. At the critical moment, the old man from the Han clan pushed Han Ying away. He turned around and blocked the attack alone. The old man from the Han clan slashed out a sword light. However, A third Heaven Divine God Realm cultivator was much weaker than a fourth Heaven Divine God Realm cultivator. The saber light slashed down and the sword light shattered. The old man from the Han clan tried his best to dodge, but one of his arms was cut off. The old man from the Han clan hastily retreated. He coughed up blood and his face turned pale. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.